to another episode of Coffee Breaks with Becky. I am Becky, and I am here to answer your family law related questions. I am a family law attorney licensed in California, and I take questions on any of my social media sites, which I will tell you all what they are at the end if you don't already know them. Today we are talking about living arrangements when you and your partner split up. And the reason we're going over this today is because the question that I got was from a person who said, I caught my spouse cheating. Can I change the locks and throw all their crap outside? I will keep all your questions anonymous. And the funny thing about this question is that you see a lot of times on commercials or movies where, the person, it's usually the wife, is locking the door and throwing the person's clothes out the window. The most recent movie that I watched where this was done was Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy, where she takes everything out of her. No spoilers, but because I think it's in the trailer. But she takes everything out of the house and she piles it up and then she lights it on fire. All his stuff. You can't do that. So again, remember that the laws they vary from state to state. So if you need specific details on your specific case, I really highly encourage you to meet with or contact a lawyer in your area so that you can get specific advice about your specific case and your specific situation. So the general rule is that, excluding instances of things like domestic violence or where the police have taken the other party out of the house, you cannot lock your spouse or ex-partner out of the marital home. And it's because if you own the home, you own it together. It's a community property. That's one of the issues. But barring any sort of, again, court order saying the other party needs to leave, you cannot kick them out. So once, if you're renting, you're both on the lease. So there's that issue. And if you own the home together, it's community property. In California, it's community property. And I would probably even say that even if it's a separate property issue, those don't usually get hammered out until the end. You cannot, again, if you have specific issues, just specific question about your case, you need to contact an attorney. But typically the general answer is you cannot kick a spouse out, you cannot change the locks, you cannot destroy their property, you can't burn their clothes, you can't do any of that stuff. So don't do that, it's bad. My recommendations for living situations would be, if you really cannot stand to be in that same house with the person any longer, try to find a place to live. I know people sometimes think that's caving or showing weakness, but it's just getting yourself out of a situation where you're not happy. And if you can do that, then that is probably the best thing. You can ask the other party to leave. It doesn't always happen. And they can say no, which is, it makes for an uncomfortable situation. And, stubborn people sometimes don't really care about that. If you have another room in the house, move into that room. And then, you're not sleeping on the couch or, or trying to share a bed when you don't, can't even stand to be in the same house with a person. Those are sort of some suggestions, because a lot of times this day and age, it might not be financially feasible to just up and move out and find somewhere else to live. Cost of living, especially in California, is very high. So there are more and more instances of people getting divorced and still living together after they're separated, which can cause some issues for date of separation, um, which is an actual date where things start, the court can start splitting stuff up. And in California again, so date of separation is sort of an important thing to know if you're married. So if you choose to continue to live with your partner and you're considering yourself separated, you need to talk to an attorney and make sure you're doing all the right things so that the date of separation doesn't become an issue in your case, which can cause more lawyer fees and more time in court and anything like that. You cannot ruin other people's property, so don't go out and burn their clothes or put them on the porch and let the neighbors steal them or whatever. Don't do that. You can, again, I wouldn't even touch anybody. If you split up and it's amicable, then obviously you don't really have anything to worry about. But if you're split up and you want them to leave and it's super uncomfortable and it's probably not going to be a friendly split, you're best to just remove yourself from the situation as much as you can. If that means moving into a different bedroom and putting a lock on that door so that your property is protected, then that's what I would do. But don't put yourself in a situation where they can, the other party can come and say, oh, but they damaged my property. You don't want any sort of bad behavior. You don't want them to be able to accuse you of any sort of bad behavior during a breakup, that you ruined any sort of duties that you may owe to your spouse. Even though you're not together, you still owe the community, your marital community. You still owe that a duty of taking care of the property that's there. So just be careful of all of that. And if you have questions, you probably should contact an attorney. One of the things that it's important to remember is that both parties are entitled to occupy the family home pending the outcome of the divorce. So that's just something to remember before you try to make any rash, decisions that could come back and actually hurt your case later down the road. So, if you can find somewhere else to go until you can find another place to live, if that's more comfortable and easy for you, ask the other party to move out. A lot of times, again, like I said earlier, nobody really wants to be in an uncomfortable situation. Again, if you've kids, that puts a whole different layer of things on there. I'm just only talking about two people today, not like the kids situation. And I'm also not referring to instances of domestic violence. And then also don't create a situation, because it happens where people just really angry and they don't want, I'll just do whatever I need to do to get the other person out of the house. And so they make up or create a situation where a restraining order happens. Don't do that either. I mean, if you validly need a restraining order, then that's one thing. But don't create a situation that wasn't ever going to be there. That it's just bad. It's bad behavior. It's bad. You shouldn't do that. I mean, everybody deals with their anger in a different way, but there's better ways to handle that. Again, move out if you can. Find a friend or a family member to stay with. If you cannot do that, ask them to leave. If they don't want to do that, move into another room in the house. And just, if you feel more comfortable, put a lock on that door, the door to that bedroom that you will be staying in. I believe that would probably, I don't see any, as long as there's no other party's property in there, it's just your property. And I think that would be, there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, thank you again for the question. It's always fun when I get to kind of debunk things that you see on TV, like people always throwing clothes out the window down the street. You can't do that, so don't. So anyway, that's all I have for today. And again, if you please send me your questions. I enjoy answering them. I hope you find these shows helpful, and I'm going to keep making them. And so you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Abraham Family Law. You can find me on Twitter at Abraham Family LA. You can visit my website, www.abrahamfamilylaw.com, and send me questions any of those ways. You can text them to me at 707-532-5789, and you can email them to me at Beki, Beki, at Abraham Family Law, or direct message in any of those platforms I've already talked about. If you are in California and you need an attorney for your family law matter, please give me a call. I'd be happy to chat with you about your case. I offer I currently offer a free 30-minute consultation. So let's, if you're looking for a family law attorney, I can definitely help. All right. Have a great day, you guys, and enjoy your week and your coffee. I'll see you next week.